What is up, YouTube? Man, I know y'all seen the post on this one. Man, this is about to be an exciting conversation. I was asking this gentleman to get on with me a little while back ago, and he finally bit and agreed to come on here with me, and I'm super pumped about it. But y'all know what it is and know how I do this, so I got to make sure that you are over there drinking the Alpaca Coffee, because I actually got my coffee with me this time. And I'm not drinking just Mountain Dew. But we're going to get this kind of, I'm ready to get into this. I'm ready to get into this conversation where we're going to go. This one may last for a little while, so make sure that you clear your schedule for at least the next little bit and stay tuned in with us. Feel free to ask any questions that's going on, anything you got interest in. If it's any tech questions, we might get to it, but we might not. So we might have to overlook it for the moment and keep it to one context. But Mark, my man, I'm so excited to have you on here, man. I really am. If you could, man, you know how I'm gonna do. I'm gonna hand it off to you real quick, and if you can give me a little spiel of who you are, where you're from, and you know who is the man, the myth, the legend, Mark.
Cut it out. Thanks for having me. First of all, Steve, I've been following what you got going on for a while now. I'm Mark from Speedsoft Australia. I am the representative for SpeedQB in Australia. I've been at it for about 3 years now, and I've brought an esteemed member of our community with us, B-Rad from Insidious. Hey, and I'm here to work today, actually. Here to get some work done for you all. I've been following you for a while, seeing how pumped the East Coast is for organised sport. And some of the conversations that have been going on lately, I've been just itching to jump in on those. So
yeah, there's been a lot of hype going on lately.
Time to bite the bullet and have a chat with you and see what we might be able to do to help the community who wants something so bad. You know what I mean? So just share some stories. And look, I don't claim to know everything or anything really. I don't make any claim, but we have a little bit of experience, and I see what you guys have got going on, and I hear the conversations going on, and I go, okay, well, maybe we can share some similar experiences and a part of the roadmap that got us to where we are.
Yeah, you just said it. We are super hyped about the tons of energy that's been going on over here. We see the growth continuously, and just getting involved with more people has been a tremendous blessing, more or less, and then just sit here and watch. I have no doubt the hunger over here on the East. Now, I'm never treading towards what West had going on. There's a lot of hype in the West, a lot. But sometimes we want to do our own thing at the same time. I mean, we want to be acknowledged as, we are a big-ass country, you know. Can't help but to have kind of a two-part system here. And we just want to see it grow. And there has been some really good friends lately that's helped start that process that we're pretty excited about to see what's going to happen. And
to be honest,
go ahead.
We've seen that excitement. It's caught the attention of, I can tell you, it's caught the attention of the West Coast. It's caught the attention of Europe. It's caught the attention of Australia. So whatever y'all have been doing, that passion and excitement is spreading around the world. We can see it. That's why we're here, actually.
Well, it's overall, it is extremely exciting to watch it grow. I mean, we know that we are at the what I would like to say is the pre-explosion of it. I think we haven't boomed yet to what our level is going to be. I don't think that it'll just continue to be, weekend warriors bouncing from tournament to tournament kind of thing. I think there's too many teams and too many players that are more interested in more competitive things to do. Goals to reach, opposed to just let me spend as much money as I can in Airsoft and go, only on the weekends. There's such a community for it, and I know I can speak for our team every single time for the growth. It's nice to how we all kind of joined together as a community and grew as a team, and then we watch other guys do this, and not only just other guys, we're seeing the kids do it, and more interest towards it. And you always have your Milsimer guys, and we're always going to shoot at each other, but there's even Milsim guys that are getting interested, like, hey, what do y'all got going on over there? What are y'all doing?
Well, to be honest, I don't think it would be any different for you guys in saying everyone is introduced to Airsoft through the skirmish side of things, and it's not really until you've been given a taste for more the competitive side of things that people go, yeah, this is my jam. I think everyone's introduction, bar new generations coming up these days, I think everyone's introduction is through a skirmish type scenario where you're just shooting and tending to play army
completely. Completely agree. That's how I started. That's how I got into the sport side of it myself, taking it to that next level. So definitely a point.
Yeah, I definitely would have to say that's how we got into it, or how I got into it. It was, more or less me getting to play real life Call of Duty, and here we are now.
A fancy tag. We're playing tag in a fancy way. I guess.
Yeah. It's not really until you've had the chance to go and check out a competitive event that you go, yeah, actually, I might start to head off down this road, And then most people get right into the competitive side once they decide that's their jam.
Oh man, ain't that's facts. Once we did it, we was hooked. That was all it took. It opened up our minds to something different. We was very committed to being at our local field every weekend. That's all we did, was just every weekend, and then opportunity came out for even for SYG. That's how we originally got to meet some of them guys. Went down to Nashville and played our first tournament. Actually finished 5th out of 18 teams. I give us a pat on the back for that one. Very first time playing it, but man, it was just something. It just clicked. We got to keep going back, and we have been non-stop since. It has just been
full speed.
Full speed. We are full send, but we are enjoying it, and not only just enjoying it, we're wanting to be part of it. Like, man, we want more people to play this. We want to play more people. We want to, see more people grow. So,
actually, maybe that's a good segue. So it's only until we start talking that I figure out what to say. So as part of my introduction, maybe I can tell you how I actually got into being an official host of SpeedQB and competitive events. So it's a bit of a story, but this is my story.
Yeah.
So obviously we have gel ball here. It's very, very similar to Airsoft. It's basically just a change of T-piece, no inner hop up, and there's a change in our ammunition. Airsoft's illegal, so that was a little loophole we found, that the what we use as ammunition is not legally classified as ammunition, whereas a BB is. So that was our kind of loophole, we were able to pass ballistic tests and stuff like that.
Right.
So I had never played paintball, and I used to drive past a property on my way. I'm a plasterer by trade, gyp rocker for you guys. And I used to drive past a house every day that had Gel Blaster Battlefields sign out the front. And seeing it daily, it just caught my attention, and I decided to Google it, and I found out what Gel Blasters were, and I'm like, I might have to check this out, Mm-hmm. Went to that field, was welcomed. I went by myself, knew no one at all, just went honestly to check it out. What is this stuff all about? And I was welcomed in like I was a a friend of the operator, and when I played, it felt like I was playing with a bunch of his mates. It just felt like I was at a mate's place playing with a bunch of his mates, and I was hooked from there. Mate, it's like I come from a fight scene, so when I went to a new club, if you're made to feel welcome and part of it, you want to come back. And at that field, I was made to feel so welcome, and like I said, just like being amongst a bunch of mates, so it quickly became my home field, you know. Then I started checking out other fields I had my introduction to the industry, and I start seeing, there's more operators out there. I started going to field, having a look at the scene, what it's all about and what's out there. And at the time I had found NXL. NXL was what I was watching on YouTube. Then, like all of us, we found a demo clip and found SpeedQB, and that's where I found that my jam is the competitive side of things, yeah, because I've always been into sport, yada yada. But I also like the playing army, you know. I like to creep around. I wasn't actually a speedy boy. I'd like to creep up on someone and ambush and shit like that, yeah. But sport is my jam, so. So I figured out, okay, I'm down for the sports side of things, and I started checking out some operators who were moving down the competitive route, trying to put on something sort of competitive, and I went from field to field and put my hand up to ref. There was only one really that I went to. It was cool. Another event came up. They were looking for refs. I put my hand up, started asking some questions. So what are you doing here? Yada, yada, yada. And they didn't really know. They were just testing out a few different things. And then at the same time, being watching SpeedQB, I thought to myself, why is everyone trying to reinvent the wheel when there's a perfectly well-working wheel there? So I hit up, I saw someone with a dye mask at that event where I refed. And I said, have you heard of SpeedQB? And he's like, shit, yeah, we've been waiting for someone to bring that here. So that was the point in time that I decided, okay, I'm going to do it. That was the pivotal moment where I just asked, have you heard of this? And he's like, fuck yeah, I've been hanging for someone to do this. I went, okay, let's do it. So I sent an email to SpeedQB. I got a flat out no. And I understand why, you know. For you guys, paintballers think the airsoft's for pussies. So, facts, right?
Facts.
Facts.
So SpeedQB is branded as a hard sport that's not for pussies, and then here I am going, we got gel blasters here, and they Google gel blasters, and it's got kids' toy. So we're like one step up from Nerf, and they're like, hell no. So I got it, but it didn't stop me, you know. I don't even know what my second step from there was, but I ended up getting 3 flat out no's, yeah. I kept the conversation going.
Yeah.
Just my approach was, I love what you got going on there. We're dealing with gel blasters here, but I'd like to, and they'd had the blow up. I think they'd done, I think maybe Europe had just launched just before. So they'd had the video going SpeedQB worldwide, yada, yada, yada. So my approach was, look, I'm going to do this, but I don't want to rip off what you've done. I'd rather be part of a larger team and help build your dream into something bigger and do my piece to incorporate Australia into that.
Right.
So I never wanted to do anything of my own. There's a lot of, it happens in paintball, it happens in airsoft, it happens not so much. Well, it does happen in gel blaster too. People see something and they go, I think I can do it better. I want to do something of my own. Or they'll emulate it, but not be part of something bigger. My whole goal was just to be part of something bigger. The people here that wanted to play wanted to be part of a global community, wanted to be part of a global sport. So that's always been my driving factor, you know? So on the third no, I got no, but show us what you got going on there. And that but was just the only window that I needed to go, okay, that's not a no. That's a no, but.
But, yeah, it could change.
Let's see what you got, yeah.
yeah, let's see what you got going on there. So my reply was, look, no one's doing anything like that here, but leave it with me. So I stole materials. That's a flat out honest truth. I decided no matter what, nothing's stopping me. I'm doing this. I'm a tradesman. I pick up some timber. I stole gyprock, plasterboard, and I set to building bunkers. Honestly, at that time. So because of the but, it's like, okay, we've got to show them what we got going on here. There's nothing going on. There are no leagues. There are no teams. There's absolutely nothing. It's just how can we represent this brand and how can we showcase our interpretation of what it is that SpeedQB is. So that guy that had the dye mask that I very first ever spoke to, he was part of a team. I aligned with them. Then there was another team in the community that was such nice people. And I said, what do you think of these guys? And they're cool. So I invited them. I hired a badminton hall, actually. I had a badminton hall. It took 4 utes to move all the bunkers that we had built there. We set it up. We filmed it. We put a video together and we sent it to America. The reply was, like, their ability to create content, and it was fucking miles from their ability to create a hype video or something like that, you know what I mean? But we'd put the effort in, and they're like, look, we like the feel of what you're going on. You've shown that it's fun, sport, yada, yada, yada. So that's how it started. From there, the video came out, so there was obviously locally a lot of hype around that. More and more people had become consumers of SpeedQB content. So I went to another hall and I hired a basketball hall. We started in a basketball hall, and that's how it started. We put on 3 exhibitions. We invited 10 teams to the first one. And that's our rollout, 3 exhibition rounds to introduce the format. And I'd never hosted a sport or been a host of anything in my life. So we all learnt together, you know what I mean? And being a pop-up event, I think, was great for the beginning of our forming and building a community, because everyone had to chip in. If they wanted something, they all had to chip in to make it happen. I'm just me. You know, a tradesman who stole some shit, built some bunkers, and the idea of let's build something together. Well, let's all bump in. You know what I mean? This is a conversation that's been on my mind for you guys, particularly, Steve, with what's been going on and what's missing. And I go, especially with your practice field that's just come up, you got a beautiful opportunity there to go, we can build something from the ground up here.
It's plausible. I mean, it's definitely plausible. Which speaking of, for y'all that are in the comments, real quick, that video he's talking about is actually on Speedsoft Australia's YouTube channel, isn't it? I believe so. I think I've seen it.
Hey, something, man.
But it's in the link. Yeah, it's in the description. Both the YouTube and the Instagram to them are in there. So I'd go check out that video. But yeah, man, continue on if you're.
So like you guys have a years on us with history of being in Airsoft, right? But I think you're and hey, sup, Kaber. I mean, no disrespect to any operator, anything that's going on over there at the moment. By no means mean no. This is just pure observation as an outsider on the other side of the world, right? And hearing your conversations, in that you're so keen for an organized sport, you know what I mean? So I go, okay, you have a community that's established, and you've got years of history, and portions of that community that's already established have a bit of a tainted name, like the name Speedsoft has an element of taint against it, right?
Yes.
And I go, my thoughts of why I'm here on this podcast is to kind of set you on a roadmap, right? And I go, I think you need to tear down what you've got there and start from scratch, in the sense of reclaim Speedsofter and what that means, and fuck off this this bad name that's attached to it. We were lucky because there was nothing here before us. So when we go, this is Speedsoft and we are Speedsofters, we created what that meant in this country, yeah?
Right.
Yeah.
You're able to reclaim it purely by action. It can't just happen. It comes by action, and those actions come based off perspective and what you stand for and how you conduct yourself, the posture that you have. That's what I mean by tearing everything down. You know what I mean?
Right.
I've heard a few conversations. Baby goat, that was a good conversation. You know,
Yeah, it was
like
a really
people
good
are starting.
conversation.
Yeah, people are starting to wake up and go, oh, there's some things that if we want something to happen here, there's some things we need to change. So I go, let's start with the foundation. And that starts with your core leaders in a community of having these shifts in perspective of what it is you want to stand for. You know what I mean?
I agree with that.
Yeah. I definitely understand. Like, you know, for the longest time, I don't think nobody could get on, at least in America, nobody can get on YouTube and type in Speedsofter without, you know, 30 different videos of a, you know, Speedsofter destroys rental kids, Speedsofter mag dumps, whatever, and stuff like that. And since us as a community has jumped on the scene, I think we've, in our, at least our local area, have definitely shifted the idea of, like, you know, the old Speedsofter image of what you're talking about.
Yeah, so if you're at a field, and whether it be an operator or if you're at a general session, a public open play, and someone goes, oh, look at that Speedsofter, and they're behaving in that way that has been accustomed to the name, I'd be like, no, that's not a Speedsofter, that's just a wanker. And reclaim it. I'm a Speedsofter. I'm a competitive. I take this serious. This is a sport for me. He's just a wanker. He's just
like a wanker. I'm gonna have to use that.
A kid or an adult. Adults can be just as bad. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Right.
So when you go, no, don't attach that to us. We're claiming this title back, and they're nothing like us.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is very.
So I wanted to.
Go ahead.
Sorry, bro.
No, you go ahead. I'm listening.
So I want to run this like a bit like a workshop. You know what I mean? Through conversation, but I want to ask a few questions which help help you think about what it is you're trying to do and what things look like, which then give you the next step. What steps do we need to take? Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. I would agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
The first question, these are all leading questions, right? So if I ask a question, they're to get you to think about something, and based on your answer, I go, okay, let's start forming a roadmap for you guys. What do you want?
That's the first question?
Yeah, that's my first question. I've heard the conversations, but I want you to voice it, and let's start working.
Okay. Well, I'm sure I can touch. Esmond's going to probably be in a lot of agreement with me. I like what you said, that we're not trying to basically reinvent the wheel in the same concept, just be part of something bigger. Just to kind of get, man, that we enjoy this too. Let this not just be a West Coast thing or something way out in the, EU or what y'all got down in Australia or anything like that. So I think a lot of what we're trying to do right here on this side is more or less just kind of bring the hype here. Let us jump in on this bandwagon as well. We're loving playing the game. We love, just the idea of being a Speedsofter in that sense. Yes, we do have some bad juju going around. We do have the guy that's, on YouTube that it's instant, dumping 30 rounds on some rental kid and bringing a bad name for that. And it's unfortunate to get what somebody just threw a comment. The dye mask is an instant hate factor. I'd agree with that. It's for some reason we've allowed that to happen. I like what you just said, though, of snatching it back. Snatching back that title.
They don't own it. It got assigned, right? But you can go, no. We want this back, man.
I would agree. I definitely agree. And not only getting it back would have to be a consistent. Everybody's got to be on the same page. Let's do this in a consistent, conductive manner. We're not here to hurt each other. We're here to play. Even if it's just some open play, we're not here to hurt each other. Let's shoot each other and be homies.
In open play is where you will change the perspective.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely.
But you are right. Everyone needs. These are all base question. You're so far ahead. I'm just trying to corral you into the same place, right? Like, because you know it, but I don't know if you realize it. No one's spearheaded you, but you're already down the path of going, okay, yeah, we need to be on the same train of thought.
Yeah.
And you've already started to say, so I'm taking notes here. This is like a workshop, yeah?
That's fine.
Yeah.
You're going, what do you want? You want to be part of something bigger. What do you like? You like the play of the game. What don't you like? The bad dumping and the mag dumping and the bad reputation. These are all key points you start to identify, because when you decide what you don't like and what you do like, you start to form a picture of what your community looks like and what it stands for. And people who don't agree with that, they don't belong here.
I would agree with
and you
that.
have that opportunity to say, you don't fucking belong here. That's not us, and we're not rolling with people like you. This is not for everyone.
I agree with that.
The door is open for everyone. You're welcome. Everyone come. We want it to grow. We want everyone to be involved. But if you don't fit into what we built as a community and who we are, you don't belong here, because it's all of your experiences that are affected. Forget the name. Every event you go to is an experience. And if it's a shitty experience, you're not coming back and nothing gets to grow.
I agree with that. I think generally, and I don't want to sound like a broken record on it, but I definitely want to say a big thing towards the community. The community of people is a large thing, because if it's not going to grow, I see too much bickering between teams. I see too much, I mean, whoever wants to talk behind somebody's back, whatever. But I see too much of it. There's a lot of tension, what we're seeing lately, and that's what I'm not liking. I think everyone should. Of course, not everybody can get along. I get it. Sometimes there's just people that just rub you the wrong way. I get that. But still having a standard of behavior of how we do things and conduct ourselves around that community.
I'd like to introduce Brad into this conversation. So Brad is a community member, right? Am I got to go this way?
Yeah, to point up.
Brad, I'm just pointing at my screen. Brad, first and foremost, is a player and a community member, but has taken the step up. Like I said, it's for here in Australia, I built it all. It's so entrenched in community. It's not funny that we all had to build something together. So there are key leaders. Not everyone will want to do this, but key leaders will step forward and go, I see what you're doing here, and let's build this together. People want to be involved in building something together. In regards to this bickering and how people communicate with each other, Brad is a captain of Insidious is a growing club, so they have 2 teams actually on the roster now. But I'd like to introduce Brad, and can you speak on what you do as a community, what we set up in how you communicate, and when there are issues, how you touch on it, how you approach. I think approach is everything. But Brad, I'd like you to speak on this.
Yeah, no, 100%. Approach is everything. Dealing right through with the bickering and stuff like that. We have had our experiences here in Australia with that sort of stuff. But as a community, you band together in between tournaments, events, or whatever that might be going on. We do see teams who like to segregate, spend their own time with themselves and by themselves, working out whatever. But what we tried to do within our division is we actually go out, we mingle. So that way, if there are any issues or anything like that, they're being brought to light. You're not doing it on a field. You're not doing it out behind, the back shed or anything like that. You are there. You are in the moment, and that's the best way to knock out a lot of any tension or any issues, because you are able to bring it there. You are able to bring it straight to light and have a chat. And like Mark keeps saying, it's all about the conversation within the community. Even on standpoint.
Brad, can you use me as an example? If I'm a captain and some fuckery has happened on the field, can you give me an example of how you would approach me?
Well, at the end of the day, I would wait till after the match is done, because at the end of the day, refs' decisions, nothing could change. So I go out and I'd seek Mark afterwards and be like, listen, mate, this is the issues that we are having. Your snake player's not calling his hits. Now we've got footage there, that we can produce, we can show you if you have got that. But also for us, it's not a fact that we're trying to plug and drag you guys down. What we're trying to do is lift you and your game style up. Because at the end of the day, we all uphold ourselves to the highest regard, to the best of our abilities. Now, at the end of the day, it is a high-impact sport in regards to the running, the physicality, the fitness. I'm a bigger dude, and I can tell you now there's times out on that field where I'm left speechless. I'm flat out trying to grab a breath of air and whatnot. But that's what I mean, though. So it does come back down to that community. It's not about bringing someone down. It's about raising the opposition to the same level of expectation that you uphold for yourself. So in that regard, I go to Mark, like, this is what we've experienced. This is what we've seen in your team. Now, captain, I just want to give you the heads up. We will be coming in. We will be coming hard now. We've got a point to prove for the next tournament. So, if you want, we are more than happy to work with you and help trigger those issues or whatnot that might be coming up. So if it means we're going to go hunting for a snake player to help ensure that he's called and he sits. And I would expect any other team and 10 captains to come and approach us like that. So like I was saying before, it's not about us bringing someone down. It's about lifting the community up to that higher standard. And we have experienced that here with the growth and the explosion of Speedsoft Australia as a community. A lot of teams are getting onto that same bandwagon, and they are all taking that same approach. And that it has a huge positive influence and effect on the community, which then transitions back into your gameplay, because everyone's like, oh, okay, well, these guys aren't a bunch of wankers we thought they were. And I must say, I've drawn some early conclusions, and then I've got to have the conversations with these guys and realise, well, we're two peas in a pod at the end of the day. So it's about sort of distinguishing the fact of on-field and competition and off-field, and it's the off-field responses that will make or break any team. Like I said, it's not about bringing anyone down. It's about raising them up to your same level of competition.
These perspectives are integral. So my job as an organizer has been to establish the foundation of like it's a lot of work what I do, right? And I'm not going to waste my time for people who are here fuck around. Like, yeah, I did steal some materials, but I also invested. I invested money from our family, like not as a business, just as a let's do something cool, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
And with those original 10 teams, as a community, we got to set an understanding as a small collective. Like we're talking, like, I think in our first year we had like 86 individuals, right? And we go, okay, what is it that we want to do? Like, what makes our day enjoyable? Okay, and you learn through poor experience and positive experience, right? So it's all something that takes time for you to have an experience and identify it and go, yeah, okay, we don't like that, yeah? So you heard how over time, captain, and all change takes place through conversation. So as an organizer, everyone comes to me. They all got a complaint, yeah? Whether they're complaining or they have an incident or an issue that they need addressed, right? So some people, if one person comes to me, I'll make a mental note, yeah? If 2-3 people start coming to me, I'll go, okay, there's a bit of an issue here, yeah? But yeah, with that first point of contact, I go, mental note, let's keep an eye on this and let's look out for it, yeah? Mm-hmm. Then if 2 and 3 come to me, I'll go in private to that captain, right? And I'll go, look, man, PBZ, yeah, Steve, I'll interact with you right now, right? I'd have a video call with you, not over text. I'll reach out to you. Steve, can we have a chat, man? I need to just catch up. Mm-hmm. Hey, man, I like you because everyone likes everyone, really. No one is there to be an asshole, really. If they are, you see them real quick and they're just not. The community will reject them. Yes. So most people come in with the right intentions, right? So I said, Steve, hey, I see a bit of a problem starting to arise, all right? And as a captain who's responsible for your core little group, I just want to chat with you and raise it with you because you at training, you might be able to have a conversation or you might be able to open your eyes to look out for this, right? And I'll go, your name's starting to be on a few teams' lips. Mm-hmm. And no team wants to be that team.
Right.
That team that does this, that team that does that, they take the piss. They don't call their shots. Steve, I see a problem, you know, like I just want to make you aware of it, that there might be some bad habits that we need to work, that you need to work on as a team. Now that you're aware of it, like it will take some time, but keep your eyes open. And if there's someone in particular, I'll say, you need to keep an eye on this guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And some people just have bad habits sometimes. And as a captain, I saw it we've gone through this multiple times. It's ongoing work, right? Someone might have a poor habit where they lean towards trying to not call a shot or something, right? I'll go, Steve, you don't want to be that team, yeah? Got to keep an eye on this guy. And as a leader of your own little group, you're going to go to him because you know how to approach him. Communication's everything. Everyone's got their little angle, their way to approach him. Some you need to smack, some you need to usher along, some you need to encourage. You know what I mean? You'd be like, hey, bro, Mark reached out to me and there's a few teams that are going, this is going on. Like, you know what I mean? You're not angry at them. If you ask someone for help, if they say no, they're an asshole. So if you approach it from, hey, bro, I need your help. Like, I need you to keep an eye on this or be more aware of this. Then that person's behavior will curb because you've approached them of like, I'm not angry. Oh, fuck you. You know?
Yeah.
You've gone, let's work on this. And then they might go good for a while. These are certain individuals. They just might have these bad habits that are hard to break. They might come good for a while. Then they might start to fall into bad habits. And you go, hey, Steve, this guy, keep an eye on him. He's starting to fall into bad habits. Nothing's bad about it. You know what I mean? It's just like he needs a reminder.
I agree. And especially approaching them with the right attitude right off the gate and not coming out so aggressive and stuff like that. I mean, that's kind of just a little chain of command. I mean, just approach the captain. You know, captain has to address, you know, I like what we've been doing around here lately. You know, nobody comes talks to one of the refs or the official except the captain. So if you have a problem, let the captain do it. Go over there to him.
Exactly.
You know,
it can get out of hand way too quick. And a captain should be established, not because you form the team. A captain is just a title, right? The captain is actually the point of contact in competition, right? The guy who can communicate. There can be a problem and leave some emotion out of it and just communicate and go, okay, we got an issue here. Let's address it. Let's figure out our next move to move forward. And then you take that back to your crew. It could be anyone, whoever's the best at managing their emotional maturity and the best communicator under adverse situation, you know, because competition, it's hot, it's heated, it happens, right? But you got to be able to step back and go, okay, we don't have room for abuse. So who's the right guy who's not going to abuse someone? You know what I mean? And as a captain, if you got one of your teams that go off on the ref, you bench them or something. Go, hey, we don't fucking stand for that because it's our name. Yeah. And there could be businesses looking to sponsor our team. What do we stand for? How are we going to represent ourselves and other people?
That's facts.
And so, like, we got 60 teams now. I have 50 locally, and we just launched in another region, right? So instead of me trying to individually micromanage, say, 300 people, I just got to communicate with those captains because everyone's got opinions, I just need to communicate with you and you need to spread that. That's how you spread word in your community, having a good core of captains who all come together. They're all on the same page and you all look after your own little piece. Yeah. You as captains, you agree, this is what we stand for, this is what we want in the community, and I'll take care of my own. And everyone takes care of their own. And then those conversations, as a captain, you go back to your team and have a conversation. Then on game day, your players might be having a conversation with another player. And those conversations perpetuate like that.
Right. That's
how you build your community.
I think you're right. I mean, each captain should have their own way of speaking to the team. I mean, especially the holding accountability thing. And me and my team talked about this lately. You know, not only on the aspect of, just being able to talk to each other and communicate, not so much in a hateful way, but there might be a point when be like, hey, bro, you got to sit this one out. Like, you got to sit this out. If you're not addressing
Yeah.
it, something's not changing. I mean, he is captain PBZA, which is Esmond right here. And I know he would approach it very quickly. If somebody was having the issue, say, you know, I'm not calling shots. I'm not doing anything. Hey, Steve, bruh, I've already
You gotta
addressed you
sit
about
there.
it. Bench it. That's what we have a sub for. TJ, you're in, Bubs.
Brad. So I know the quality that Insidious expect as a team. Can you share a story of what would happen to a player just in training, a private training session with no one else around? What would happen to a player who's taking the piss?
No, just joking. No, I call everybody in. We have a bit of a team meeting and a breakdown of whatever the situation might be. Because at the end of the day, you are a team, so every person there is a part of that team. So everyone, I feel, and I approach it has that right to know and are given the opportunity to have their opinion on the situation as well. So what I do is I bounce it around. Last year we had one fella there who had the wrong sort of an attitude. So he would not like take a hit that's been called. He would play the referee and he'd wait till the referee grabbed him and pulled him off the field before he would make his exit, which doesn't fit our mould. We've always been the ones where if you're unsure, and our motto, if you're unsure, take the hit. It's not worth it. That's just how we are and whatnot. So, you know, we do approach that conversation within our training. Then we'll have a look at, you know, what's factoring to that issue. Is it the gear that you're wearing? Is it the big belt? Is it the backpack for your HPA? So we'll actually go through and then try and do a breakdown of trying to work out exactly what it is, remove any of the excess gear and whatnot, and then try and reapproach. But along with that reapproach, you know, I do have a good chat and give them a pretty stern, firm sort of warning going, listen, you are being watched. That's not the name that we are wanting for ourselves. It's not a position that we want to be in. We've always tried to play with integrity, honesty, respect. And I mean, with those three key elements, it doesn't matter who you are as a person or the team you play for, you're going to enjoy the experience. So I'll have a chat with them about that. Just let them know, listen, we are being watched. This is our views and our core values and morals as a team that we will be upholding. We have had issues in the past where we have had some people have turned around and said, well, I don't think this is a team for us. And, you know, that's fine. Not everyone's going to gel. But yeah, we always try and hold ourselves up to that regard, give the team the opportunity to have their piece. As like Mark said, in this situation, we're out of the public eye. We're at our own private closed training session, which we do every week. We do have our breakdowns, and any issues or concerns get raised there. Then as a team, we jump on and squash them out. But then as the captain, I sort of come over and, you know, put that the official firm warning down on them that, you know, the behaviour is not tolerated or for whatever reason or whatever the situation might be. But always...
It's setting standards and holding people accountable for it. It's making decisions, painting a picture. This is what we stand for. And anyone who wants to join, you have to fit in. We don't have to accommodate you, you know. And if this behaviour doesn't fit our mantra, sorry, man, you're not for us.
Yeah,
100%.
No.
And I mean, we're all from different aspects, different walks of life. But for us, we've got anyone from tradies to people in IT, and everyone in between as well. So it's not like we're just a one-soul tradie bunch of rough nuts, you know what I mean, trying to tear it up. So with how we approach it and whatnot, we're able to accommodate for a whole lot of people across the community. You know what I mean? We've got a lot of father and son teams, father and daughters who are playing and that sort of thing too. So the family vibe for us is always a huge aspect of it as well. So, you know, that comes back down to the three core elements, which is, you know, honesty, integrity, and respect.
Facts.
Exactly. So going back to building, look, we're not paintball. We don't have a clear indicating marker. Essentially, what we're playing is an integrity-based sport, right? So that integrity has to begin with the competitors, to be honest. We all carry our weight. As operator, our refs are not there. In a perfect world, you don't need refs because everyone's calling their shots. So if you're taking an integrity-based sport and trying to legitimize it, there's been a few times I've gone, maybe we just can't make this legitimate because it relies too much on people's honesty, right? I've actually reached that point a few times because we bust our ass, but refs will miss shit. So that's where the portion of the weight comes on that community of going, okay, it's not that hard. Call your shot. You know what I mean? And as Brad said, it's a high impact sport. So things can be missed, but that's where refs are there to support the integrity of the sport. As in, we'll pick you up because you just missed this. You know, I'm not necessarily going to say that you were blatantly not calling your shot, but hey, bro, you got hit. You're out. Mm-hmm. As long as the majority of the weight is carried by each individual player of going, no, for this to actually become something, we just have to call our hit. You know what I mean? Or because if you're playing in a sport or people are trying to organize events and there's too many people that lean more towards, if they don't call it, I'm not going to call it. If there's too many that lean that way rather than if I'm not sure I'm going to call it, it will fall down and crumble. It won't become anything because it's about everyone's experience. It's not about winning. The sport is a platform for building a good community with good moral standards and the way that they carry themselves, right? So,
I mean, you said it. Refs don't always catch everything either.
If you're having a shitty experience against the team, right? You're just pulling your hair out because they don't call their shots, right? Then you're not going to want to come anymore. You'll see no growth because people stop paying their ticket because why am I wasting my time and my money to come here when this is just a circus? So if you want something to be legitimate, a portion of that weight falls on you guys, a majority of that. As an organizer, I have to put together a well-organized event, structured, and make the day flow. The experience on the field, it doesn't affect me. It affects the guy down your sight or that you're in the sights of. So you have to care about each other and each other's experience. Who gives a shit about a win at the end of the day?
That's
if
facts.
It's shallow. Who cares about a trinket? Who cares about any of it? Who cares about our team won if it's a shallow victory? Every other team there's going, you're not really a fucking winner. Yeah, no one really cares about the winner except the winner. But if you want somewhere, I don't know if it's the same for America or Europe, but here the community is really built on people with varying interpersonal challenges. Either you're a nerd, you're not the most social guy, maybe you got anxiety, you know what I mean? But they come to this and they get to blow off some steam and feel welcome, you know what I mean? You got to nurture these people and can't just blow up. You got to recognize everyone's differences and go, okay, like, it's just about helping each other become better people through sport, through a platform of sport.
I think
having patience and time for each other.
Being a buddy, and he's actually in the chat here. I've discussed that before. We've dealt with a couple different teams that just wasn't calling anything, and yes, we'd get extremely frustrated. There was one local place that we went to, and last few months of last year, it almost turned into a circus to the point of like, we're not going to go return. I mean, we're just not going to do it. And we've talked about literally, these guys didn't call anything. We'd have all this footage on them and stuff like that, which is going to kind of get to what his question is here. But more or less, we've said it, but then we come right back behind it and like, man, I just can't do it. And that was the reference to, well, these guys ain't calling it, I'm not going to call it. And
you can't have that.
I know, exactly. And that negativity immediately, like, you know what? I'm not built like that, bro. I'm not doing it. I don't want that kind of that vibe, because what if somebody, it's not even about getting caught. It's you got to live with that. That's like
That's an eye for an eye.
Yeah, we want
Eye for an
legitimate
eye
wins.
makes the world go blind, mate.
PBZ does not generally care about any win. We don't. We're there to vibe, shoot each other, have fun. That's what we're there about. If we win, all right, cool, we win. If not, all right, cool, we got to play. We're just there just to play. And don't want to be built in that aspect. But like I said, it's not even on the aspect of getting caught. Like, nobody sees me shooting him, but as soon as he shoots back and I don't call it, well, look, now Steve ain't calling hits. And have no idea why I didn't, you know what I'm saying? But it's more than, I like what you said. If you're questioning it, call it. Much rather call it. Because nowadays, everyone has got their phones. They're watching all from the sideline. And especially
from the sports aspect, so if we're talking Speed QB, right, as a team sport, because I've lost a bit of track. As far as the team sport goes and the logistics of that, it's a team sport with 5 players, right?
Right.
The points for kills, it's not a team deathmatch. The points are in the flag, right? If you're not sure, you can lose 5 points. Big fucking whoop-de-doo. It's nothing compared to the 100.
Yeah.
Right.
If you it's the shift of, you're not there just to shoot people. You're there to compete in a sport. And where are the points in this sport? Where is the win? It's not from, you can sacrifice a player to enable your team to move forward. Yeah, yes. To advance. So that's where if you're not sure comes into it. You're more, it's better for the integrity of the sport. If you're not sure, call it. And a ref should be there to support you and say, no, bro, that was a rebound or something, right? And keep you in the game. Sometimes they might not be fast enough. But if you remove yourself, it hasn't affected the outcome of the game all that much. It's not about you. Get rid of a bit of ego and go, okay, my team's got this. You know what I mean? I'd rather have integrity for the future of the sport and the name of my team than stay here because I'm not sure. You got to lean more towards not sure, I'll call it.
Absolutely. Like, there's been actually the last tournament I was with them with, Shot Zone, I was on bunker, and I got hit, but I didn't know where I got hit from. I couldn't tell where it came from, and I was more like, I called it, and I left it up to them. And in that moment, I was like, I for sure think it was a ricochet because I was shooting. We were playing on inflatables. It could have been a ricochet. Yeah. I don't know. I left it up to them. Luckily, they still pulled it through, and we was able to move on. But I see what you're saying. Like, absolutely. Like, if you're not 1,000% sure, it's a ricochet, or it's bouncing off another bunker hitting you, and you don't absolutely know where it's coming from. I agree with you. Just call it. It's better off to leave it up to your teammates' hands than you stay on the field. A ref sees it, and you lose. I think it's like 25 points, 30 points.
Yeah,
that you lose.
Yeah, I mean,
for not calling it.
5 for the sake of 25. It's a big difference. Yeah?
I've shot
Same
myself.
For a ref too. If we're a ref and we're not 100% sure, we can't pull you because I think this happened, but I'm not 1,000% positive. I have to let this play on. Yeah.
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 And I've at Nashville, I was prone to. I've done it. It sucks too. Playing home where you got a solid, vertical structure. I peeked out, shot it hit my lens, and dude was peeking. And as soon as I started to run, I was like, no, that was me that shot myself. But I went ahead and ran to dead box. It's like, I'm already out, just run, just go. They got it.
But you can have a laugh about that,
Yeah, but it was funny,
The integrity was there. That your instant reaction is to call it rather than to hesitate.
Immediately. And when I was running away, I was like, I shot myself. Like, I know I did. I just peeked too soon, and pulled the trigger too soon before I was peaked, and it just bounced right there. And it was me coming out and seeing him. It just went so fast, man. But the adrenaline, everything's very quick.
But that's the right attitude. That's where the right attitude and right integrity starts. You know what I mean? And as long as you have a laugh about it, go you.
Yeah, it's funny. Once I got there, I was like, man, I shot myself. I know I shot myself. But it is what it is. It happens.
It happens.
What was Houdini's question? What to do if the head guy? Are you meaning like the operator?
Yeah, that's his reference. The guy that's the peak of the.
So if someone has come to me and gone, hey man, I got this issue, and he's saying they don't speak to those teams, then the operator needs work. The operator's not
I'd agree, and I
being
know,
a
I know
leader.
what
He's not leading.
I know what he's referencing to, and I'll keep names, places, and stuff like that. The person has been addressed a few times, and particular, I'm gonna say teams, plural, to kind of keep it. We don't know how many, we don't know how little. That's just the same things have been said about him over and over, and would make it a miserable time. Those guys we were sitting there talking about.
You know what you have to do? You have to draw a line in the sand. When you decide, so same as an operator has to draw a line in the sand, and the community has to draw a line in the sand. We actually, at the end of one season, I had every single captain come to me and say, we're thinking about taking a knee against this team, because what's the point?
We've done it.
We've done that.
We did that December of last year. We gave up the championship fight just to be like, we're not going to play it. It's not about the win. We're just going to, because nothing's getting done.
That's how you draw a line in the sand. So that's how you can take. So not everything falls on an operator's shoulders, right? If you, as a collective community, have gone, we're not down for that. How many teams are going to come to how many events when every single team takes a knee against them? They're not actually playing. Yeah, they're just going to go up, grab a flag, and the game's over, right? Yeah. They're not going to stick around for that long. So you bump them out.
Yeah, that's exactly our thought as well. We're going to play each other, but when we have to play y'all, we'll just take a knee. And we wasn't the only team to do it.
Who cares about the win? You know what I mean? They might.
Agreed.
I don't think I'd stay or even if it's a one-day event. So what? Give it to them. They're not going to come after a while because they're not actually coming to play. They're just rocking up to take a trinket home.
Yeah, that's what we was thinking. It's like how. Yeah,
they don't get to shoot one shot.
Exactly. And it's just like you really get no game time on that, but that's the results of, players stepping up, nothing happening. But
as an organizer, I would go to that captain or that representative, and I'll be like, bro, we got serious trouble here. Like, this needs to change, or else, unfortunately, you're just going to get bumped out. Like, I give people chances and chances, but as an operator, my responsibility is not to ensure the experience of one, but to consider the experience of collective, of everyone. And if this is becoming, if they're a liability to the experience of everyone else, it's a tough job. But at some point, you're going to be forced to go, look, man, I'm sorry, unfortunately, you're affecting the experience that I'm responsible for of far too many teams, and we can't have you back. I'm sorry. It's a tough conversation, but it has to be had. Someone's got to step up and go, what will we accept and what will we not?
And I like that is really just having a sheriff. Like this is the line. This is where we draw it. This is things that's going to happen. It's not about not liking you or anything like that. It's just like drawing the line. At can't just sacrifice everybody just to kind of not hurt their feelings. That comes down even to a captain thing. It's like, hey, bro, you gotta bench, bro. You gotta do it. We've addressed it. Nothing's changing. So on a small level and a large level. And I think there's definitely the operators out there to do so. It feels like when I say I feel small over here, but it's growing, and that's unfortunate because when we think of Airsoft, Speedsoft, a lot of it you can't help but to tend to look west. It's where a lot of us did. It's where it all and there's so much going on out there, and it's like, man, we got like 4 fields now, 3 fields, like main ones over here, and there's not a lot going there for that. So you didn't really have options of places to go. It's like, all right, well, I don't want to go here because I'm having this bad time. So let me drive 5 hours to this next one, which was unfortunate.
Get together as a community. We had this conversation, and I gave you a little bit of work, right? And to go start asking the question of who wants to be part of something like this, and get them together, right? And then you start working together. You've just formed, by finding those key individuals who are leaders and who are down to do something different, you've already started to form a community, and you just get to work. So I think, yeah.
At the same time,
well done, Brad.
didn't want to start, something new. Kind of abandon everything. It's like it kind of goes back to what your statement was. We don't want to reinvent a wheel. We want to get on the same wheel. And I know you can't make
So
every one of us happy.
Find one that you all love. You gotta find one that you all love. You gotta find one that is currently operating that you think this operator can achieve the most. He's workable, has a rapport with the community, and you go, okay, as captains, you all get together and you go, okay, we're gonna go for this one, yeah?
Yeah.
We're still gonna attend the others, but we're gonna put our time and energy into this one.
Yeah, I think Esmond knows exactly where we're pointing at
with that operator. Mm-hmm. You start working together with that operator, and you go together as captains. Go there, have a meeting, have a chat like before an event, not at event day. Have chats outside of that and go, okay, what do we want to achieve here? We want this to take off. We want this one to be the center. You know what I mean? Where this is the one with the reputation where people might come, people might not at the other one, but this is the one where we're going to put our time and energy that people leave and go, I love that. And that's where word of mouth will come in too. Mm-hmm. People will play elsewhere, and those people will go, you need to go check this out, man. And that's where your growth will come from.
I agree.
It's instant structure with solid community there with that approach.
Can you say that again, Brett?
It's instant structure with a solid community if you with that approach. Having all your main captains that you sort of get along with, and then you guys branch out to your teammates and your family and stuff like that. It's instant community. And then any of the negative responses or whatnot without there aren't involved in that. And then those people need to turn around and go, well, we didn't even get a look into this. So then they're forced then to go and have a look at their approach of how they're dealing with it or how they're interacting within the community. So it's about, with that approach there, you're starting off with that solid core. And then obviously it will grow as anything always does. So people who want to put in and commit and whatnot will always come. They will always come. The people who want to sort of take more than what they put in, they're the ones that will flicker around the outsides of the circle, wait to hear the bits and pieces of the conversation that's dropped without getting the full story. Yeah. And I mean, if community and that is sort of vibe is going on, that's a great idea and a great way to look at it, because you got the captains and the teams there that having a chat with the operator, like that's instant community base, and that's where you can start then being a little bit more selective. And like I said, the teams that you are looking at with the bad juju of the negative vibe and that, they'll be the ones that sit around the outside looking for a foot in, just trying to catch any bit of conversation that might come their way. But if you've got a conversation going down and someone did include myself or Insidious as a part of that, that'll have me thinking like, right, okay, then what have I done? What has my team done? What do we need to work on? What do we need to improve? You know what I mean? So then we're forced to look at ourselves to open up to the bigger picture of what this really is all about. And here in Australia, it really doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are, how big you are, how small you are. It is a very inclusive culture. You know what I mean? So if you're not a part of that, you're forced into that position to really have a think about who you are and what you stand for and what your team is about as well.
I guess that's what we really are just starting for over here, is that community, that feeling right there of like, we go to an event, we know who's showing up, or we might not know who's showing up, but at the end of the day, it's 100%. Like you don't have that bad juju or bad negativity or, that second thought of, man, I really think I did get the guy and he really didn't call it or he shook it off.
Can I ask you a question? How many teams do you have at any given event? The regular teams.
I'd say a good common denominator. 15, 16. I would say it'd be a good common denominator there, a balanced number.
So you see them regularly, right?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of teams we know very close. Like, we're really cool with them. We've gained. I mean, oh my gosh, we've met a lot of teams and come really close with a lot of players.
What I'm leading to there is that, like, 15 teams, it's a small community. It's so small, so fragile, and there's not far you can go to avoid each other. So no matter where you go, you're going to be interacting with these people. So that experience that you have with each other, you can't escape it. Like you said, you got like what, 5 fields, 4 or 5 fields.
Something like that.
Where can you,
4 main
where
ones.
can you go to escape each other? So if you're a team that's got that name, being a competitive community, it's small. So you're always going to see this small group of people. So if you're behaving shit, you can't escape it. It's not like you can go, oh, I got a bad reputation here, I can go somewhere else, because you see each other, the same people at the same places.
I mean, there's I mean, that would be any given event. Like, say, SS is a big one around here in this area, so they would have 15 teams. Maybe a common area. They may have a little bit more. But I know, like, Nashville would have that many. But they're over here, they're all kind of sidestepped. Nashville does one weekend. SS does theirs one weekend. HTK's back at it now, so they're going to do theirs a separate weekend. And it's like it's staggered to fit the other one, because if somebody wants to go from SS all the way up to HTK, they have the option without having to choose which field to go to. They get to take part in both fields there. But yeah, we do run into a lot of the same teams. Anywhere we go, we're going to meet them. We know we're going to see them. Sometimes that's a plus. We're like, hell yeah, we're going to get to see y'all. We're looking forward to it. And then sometimes it's like, all right, well, we know what to expect. Like, it's going to be, this is what we're going to expect.
That kind of weekend.
Yeah.
Maybe those
that kind of
teams
weekend.
that you rock up and you go, oh, we know what we're going to expect here. Maybe they need more work, because the good teams, they don't need much work. It's just, hey, good to catch up. But these teams that are a bit iffy, maybe sometimes, like, I don't expect everyone to get along with everyone, right?
Agreed.
But there has to be one leader in that team that listens to a few people coming to them with the right approach of, hey, man, like, you know what I mean? Your team has this name, and I enjoy playing with you, and I'd like to enjoy it more. Like, you can lie through your teeth and say, I don't hate you, but we're seeing this behavior that's leaving a negative impact on us. What can we do together to help improve that? You see the difference between pointing a finger and going, how can we help each other?
I agree. I think a lot of ego pops in some things. I don't think everybody's as humble. And then sometimes, honestly, we have a mix of sometimes of people that just want to play. Like, say, this weekend, we're going to go play in Nashville. There's going to be teams that's going to pop up that probably never played before. They're a group of guys that was an open play. Hey, gather a team real quick. Send your names into the roster. You're on the roster, you can play. So you get a mixture of guys that are just, that's their first time, and with guys that are like more seasoned players that play, all the tournaments, go all these places, do all these sort of things. So you get that mix, and sometimes you'll have those teams that's, they didn't call it. I'm not really frustrated at people if a breakout or something, I catch somebody in the chest. He's got mags here. I know he didn't feel it. I have zero animosity towards this person. If a ref didn't see it, okay, cool. I got him, but he didn't feel it. So it's not like he's trying to cheat me. It does get aggravating from times for people shooting somebody, they won't call it, but it's kind of like sometimes you just expect it. It's just like...
No, you can't expect it, man.
I hate it, but it's like...
There are certain situations you can expect it, like, and it's good that you've got the attitude of leaning more towards he probably didn't feel that, then fuck you.
Oh, right? Yeah, I have no animosity toward it, but the expecting thing actually I guess it comes down from a snowball downhill. It's something that we've had to deal with, and not only, I'm not saying just PBZ. It's lots of teams have had to deal with it with other teams, and it's like nothing's being done, and there's been times we've approached people about things, and sometimes it's pure ego, like, man, piss off, like, I ain't, all right, whatever, bro. Yeah, and we
have similar situations here as well, and I actually went out and started getting a bit smarter with it. So you can have a conversation and whatnot with them, but they're a new team. How can you help them evolve? How can you bring up their skill set? I invite them into one of our training sessions. Come on in, have a run with the guys, and we got drills and that we run, and that sort of thing, and it gives them a different outlook too from what an experienced team goes through and what you guys are doing as a unit. To obviously the ladder is there and everyone wants to climb it. So and in Sidious we've done it for quite a few teams, and we have a lot of other teams now looking to come in and jump in on training sessions and stuff like that. But we sort of do go out to the newer teams or some teams that are questionable and get them in. So then, then what we're doing is instilling some basics into them of the integrity of the game. Yeah, we are imparting a little bit of ourselves onto that team. But ultimately, there you can get a lot more done through action and showing people what's going on, rather than the conversation part of it. You know what I mean? Just as that base. So a lot of new teams, you're always going to have that because obviously they're not as seasoned players. I know Mark's heard all the excuses. I've heard my own fair share of excuses too because if I'm not playing, I'm still down there pitching in, helping out the community. Jumping in and reffing and stuff like that too. So you do come across all the excuses and all that sort of stuff too. But then, that's one of my points where I pass straight on to them and going, well, you guys are green. You've got a lot to learn, whether it's positioning, whether it's your gear, affecting the ability to call hits and stuff like that. So we'll throw down a training session or whatnot at them and get them to come in. So then we are getting the one-on-one. They are getting the conversation. But then they're able to see, oh, okay, then, well, for us to get to sort of like this level, we really need to raise and lift the bar ourselves up as a unit. And from that, we've seen a lot of positive effects that have come back from that. These teams there earlier on in the season were sort of looked down upon and sort of written off, and they were in that sort of category. As the season progresses, they're up in the mids, and it's like, well, that's a huge effort. That's a lot of effort to get up there into the mid-range. And there was one team was a blowout. They were, made it up into the fourth or fifth or something like that. Anyway, up towards the top of the tier of the division. So it just goes to show, there are different aspects to be able to undertake and dealing with different teams. Conversation is one, but, grabbing a hold of a unit and go, listen, come and train with us. And, there's no standards. There's no nothing. Obviously both parties are just going to be open. That's where it starts. And positive effects and positive influence will help change attitudes at the end of the day. And then you see that team on the field and going, right, well, we know you've got to watch you boys. You just don't call. But when you are able to face them and realise, they're actually playing a solid, fair, straight-up game, then that brings in that vibe. Well, sweet, now we can actually be competitive.
Yeah. It's, as you said, it's an honor-based system on this one.
Something I kind of wanted to touch on in this podcast, because the opportunity won't come for a while, is kind of directed at an organizer side of things, right? So you want to be part of a league, change it from a game to a sport. Right? And if I can speak to operators at the moment who are down for that, who want that too, I'm not sure how the business model works, but if they're listening to the community, you're all screaming for something. And the way, I'm just going to give a few key points that shift something from a game to a sport, because you're all starting to use the language of sport, right? But you need the platform there. There needs to be something set up. Think about any sport, the NFL, let's say, right? They have a season, right? So players will commit when they have something on a regular basis to come to. You have to relay this foundation as a sport, right? Not standalone events anymore. You go, I'm going to have a league, and it's going to run from A to B in this period of time. There are enough teams, I'm sure, that want it. Kayla, look, you're a very intelligent guy. And I don't want to speak out of turn or like I know something that I don't. I've just got my experience, right? We set a season up and we go, it runs from March till October with the grand final in November, and we hold an event every month. We open up registrations for that. And we set in stone that this, to compete in this platform, we need a commitment from these teams. It's a year-long commitment, because you don't have the NFL. Is it the NFL?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You don't see a team joining the roster halfway through the season, and you don't see a team not showing up. You can't have a ladder. You can't have a season without committed teams. So we go, We're gonna give you this platform. You want a league, we'll provide the platform. From you, we need a commitment that you're gonna represent at each event. If you don't represent, you're not eligible for the grand final. Simple as that. That's a simple shift from a game to a sport. It's not step in, it's not step out. If you want to play a sport, you got to show up. People go to their football games every weekend. This is a sport, it's not a game. Then see who's ready to make that commitment. Then you start, that's when you have your core community who are here for a sport, not for a game. So as an operator, you provide that platform. As a community, it's provided for you. So you go, okay, we want to make this something. You show up and you start having these conversations that we've been having about community. And that's really how the mind shift starts from a game to a sport. You go, this is not step in, step out. I'm here to give you a commitment. Come and play a sport. Think of it as a sport. Treat it as a sport. And you will have a sport. It's just as simple as making a decision and doing it. You have to think something and then just do it. It's not about talking about it. You just do. You don't talk, you just do.
I'd agree. I see the commitment from a lot, and I think something's about to shake. I think something's about to start. I really do. I think our
once a month is not too much of a commitment. Like there's sports that play every Saturday, you know? Just go once a month. You have the build up 1 week before, you compete and you ride that wave. It's 2 weeks before. The build up starts 2 weeks before. Competition's coming. You're gonna get together, you're gonna tune your replicas, you're gonna do any mods, you're gonna service them. Competition comes, you compete and you ride this high. That was a cool event. Kayla could, I'm sure, have sick events, you know what I mean? And I'm sure you have local operators that you guys enjoy. Then the wave will come down for a week. And then there's a week of nothing. Then the build up starts again. You can overdose on it. Like we did monthly events by design. Because if you go, you may have been to a field that doesn't change. You go time and time again. You can overdose on it within 3 months, you know what I mean? But if you want longevity in a sport, you go, okay, we're going to do an event once a month. It's not too much. It's not enough. Because people will be super keen and still go out and play weekly, but you compete.
Yeah, on a monthly basis.
That month. You know, if you want to compete more, you'll go more. But if you've got that structure and the platform available and you commit to it, you go, okay, maybe for some people, once a month is enough for competition.
I think I got to say it for it. I got to give a huge shout out back to HTK. HTK is something that we think was going to be a huge beacon, and we didn't know if it was going to open again. It was a huge place, and I have no doubt in the operators' skills to do so and the wants to do so. I
think HTK is going to be the one.
I do too. I think it's going to be the main beacon over here for a lot of things. And that's where we've talked about as a team, like, hey, where are we going to direct our energy a little bit more? Where are we going to, because there's things we put money into, things like how we travel to. I mean, it's not cheap. Where our energy is going to be, just as our team alone, and I know there's other teams that are doing the same.
Kayba, sorry to interrupt.
No,
Kayba, I'm not talking about a month-long league. I'm talking about a full-year league that happens once per month, not every week for a month. That's way too much. It's too much commitment to expect people to rock up every week. Once a month is enough because it costs money, right? So people have lives, right? This can become quite an expensive sport. But if you go, listen, we're going to do a full season. You know what I mean? This is a year-long commitment. You go to play football. We take cues from the Grand Prix and from fighting. They're the two sports that I take cues from. A Grand Prix is a championship that goes over a whole year. You've got different races. They race once a month in all these different places, and it culminates in a grand final. It happens in many sports. The NFL, you've got the seeding rounds. We do 8 of them from March till October, and that's where you battle for your shot on the ladder, right? And the top 8 Australian players must be on a different level. For 8 months, you're doing a round robin, and you're fighting for your spot on the ladder, right? And those spots will shift throughout the year. It's a marathon. Your season is a year-long marathon made up of 3-minute sprints. Yeah, against multiple teams in a day. There are a number of sprints in one day over many months that culminate into a marathon. You make it in the top 8, or you end up on top of the ladder. This is why it's important to compete well throughout the season. Top 8 will go into the grand final, and if you were on top first place, you have the best roadmap to taking out that championship, because first place on the minor premiership will have their first game against Team 8, Team 2 against Team 7. So you got an easier road. So it was worth your effort throughout a whole season and being consistent and improving on your skills to end up on top of the ladder. Because if you want that belt or whatever the championship prize is, you've got the easiest roadmap to take that championship out for the year and those bragging rights. But there are still opportunities to come back. If you make the top 8, you have a puncher's chance.
Yeah.
But you've got the harder roadmap because your first game is against the team who came first, yeah? So you got to fucking fight hard to win that championship. Okay. That's where my cues of a fight come from. You're there that the career of a fighter is lots of little fights, and they got to work their way up to a championship fight. Yeah, that's your career. Like, these are the perspectives we have of this sport. So we take those cues of the there's a bit of finesse that comes with Grand Prix, and then there's the dirty of a fight and the grind of a fight. Yeah. Of lots of little fights along the way to work your way to having a shot at that title. And then next year you come back and do it again. If you lose, you lose. Like, you get knocked out, you got knocked out. You got to what fight have you got in you to stand up, dust yourself off, and go, all right, I'm coming again. Yeah, let's go. Like, and the weak will fall down. The champions will fucking rise at the end of the year. This is a fight to me.
I agree.
You say it's fancy tag. I say this is a fight. Right?
Well, it is. But I would agree with you. The competitive, and I think there's so much of that is that people that they want to fight like that. I mean, we say it all the time, but for 3 minutes, you are my enemy. When that horn blows, you are my enemy, bro. As soon as the horn blows and the round's over, we're homies. We can be cool, but for that moment, you're my target, and nothing else matters except eliminating y'all and winning this round and this entire match. And that's literally match by match. But
Jimmy, I do take cues from Dana White. Sorry to cut you off, Steve. I'm just
you go ahead.
Some of the comments because I haven't engaged in the comments too much. I'm telling you, I take cues from Dana White too. As an organizer, he's smart. So I saw UFC from the very first ever UFC, right? And it was underground, and the epitome of where we would like to take this as a sport, yeah? So why not grab onto their shirt tail and go, okay, how did you take this from nothing and make it something so big? As an organizer, that's who I look to for inspiration and follow. Like, it's a big job to turn something into something.
I'd agree with that completely. I completely agree with that.
Also wanted to touch on conversations that I've heard over the past couple of months, right? This is a complaint and I hear these conversations everywhere, locally as well. We need better refs.
I'm gonna go ahead, E.
All right, so for the situational of when we say we need better refs, we're not saying like the refs that we have are insufficient. We're saying that as like the refs that we are getting are of the much younger variety. Right, they'll be like, 15, 16-year-olds, kind of like kids that like can ref, but like after a while they start to lose their attention. They start to just diddle off and anything like that.
Everything I've spoken about in this podcast leads to somewhere, right?
Right.
I've spoken about community. I've spoken about organizers. I've spoken about what do you want and what are you prepared to do. I hear these conversations. We need this. What are you going to do? So I'll put this to you, right? People's instant reaction is to be hesitant about player refs. And I say move closer towards player refs, because if you have this community based on integrity and you've got that core foundation, this hesitance disappears, right? Because how are you going to find refs, that are better or interested if they don't come from within the community? Those refs who are there don't play. They're all instantly going to be shit refs. They don't understand the sport. They don't have the passion for the sport. You need a core. A field needs a set of core refs, right? Especially if you got one division, right? They need their core refs, but as an operator, they need to be invested in that operator's passion for establishing a sport. They need to enroll them and go, listen, man, we're trying to build something here. If you're not really interested, that's cool. But this is what I'm trying to do here, and I need you on board. We need you here, right? And if the number of those core provided refs are low, each team can provide refs. So just say the field has 4 core refs, right? You go, okay, you have a roster for the day. Team A plays B, C, D, E, right? The last 2 on your first round, those 2 teams need to supply 2 player refs. They put on a high vis and they jump on the field. Understanding that you all got integrity because you're working towards making something be something. Then the last 2 teams who just played, give us 2 refs. And they just rotate like that. Mm-hmm. You get experience as a player because you got tunnel vision when you're competing. Right? As a ref, you need to step back and your eyes widen. You get to see how your opponents are playing, and you get to see new lanes that you never see as a player. So it's a benefit for you guys to put your hand up and go, I'm going to contribute to this becoming something, and I'm going to support and be refs. When you talk about paid refs, shit like that, paying someone doesn't make them a good ref. What makes someone a better ref than being a player? You know people, you know what you feel, you know when someone's taking the piss because you are them. You just stepped into a different role. You took your mask off and you put this different hat on.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, no one has a face, no one has a jersey. They're just a player. You dig it?
I completely dig that.
There will 100% be conversations where people question ref integrity or bias. But you got to squash it because you all know you're doing it for the right reason. And you go, no, man, when I put this hat on, it's just for the sport. I don't care if my team's playing. You won't even be reffing your team. And if you know there are people, that are more liable to err on the side of taking the piss, you say, I need a different player. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or maybe you give them the chance to improve as a person and go, hey, man, thank you for putting your hand up. Be appreciative of it because you're all contributing something for each other. And you need those player refs. We got 10 refs on the field. We had 8, and Europe said we were crazy. Now we have 10 on the field. We got 10 players and 10 refs. 10's a good number, yeah?
It is.
And you can still miss stuff, but it's a good number. You can find angles, and the operator has to. The ref team becomes a team, but you have these conversations and going, okay, it's us against them a little bit, right? Sometimes you're their friend, sometimes they are their enemy, right? So you need, as the head ref, you need to have your ears open and hear complaints. That will identify key players that you need to keep an eye on, and you speak to your ref team. Hey guys, we got to keep an eye on this guy. Yeah, you're just paying a bit more attention. You're paying a lot of attention as a ref because you're there to support the player. So if a player's behind bunker, you'll start to see body language. Someone's trying so hard on something that ref needs to get behind them and say, I'm here for you, mate. Because they could be trying to shoot a heel or a bum. So if you just communicate with them and show them that you're there to support them, I got you, bro. Then you're there looking for a foot. Sometimes you might casually stroll up and down. So they'll catch you out the corner of their eye. That's the part of a warning, like there's a ref here. So they're held to accountability. Yeah, I better call my shot because there's a ref right there. Other times they're behind me. No, I'm your friend. I'm here to support you right now. Other times I'm here and I'm watching you. Don't fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
Then you'll start to see the head operator has to see everything. You know, they have to go, okay, there's a problem here. Let's shift these refs around here. And slowly over time, you start to pick up behaviors that need to be knocked out and lanes that you're missing as a ref team. And you go, let's just close that hole. You dig it?
Oh, I dig it completely. I agree.
As players, when you're all invested in that same thing, you're all becoming part of one team building a sport. You'll go to the head ref, even after the game. Hey, bro, we're noticing players are getting missed on breakout. So then that operator has to go, okay, where can I place a ref? Or he'll speak to that ref team and go, hey, we're missing shit on breakout. We need to place a guy here and guy here. Let's see how that goes. Then you'll see some people starting to get pulled, right? Then you'll go, okay, the way we ref this changes. You're going to start here as a ref, you two, one here. Then on that initial breakout, you're going to peel off and take your position here.
Yeah, absolutely.
You just got to build it together. You got to identify key problems and take a step to nullify it. And that might take 5 different things to do, but you're constantly working to improve. This is working, this is not working. This comes up, there's always something to work on, yeah? Whether it's a community attitude or a hole in reffing, or it's a lot of fucking work, but it can be done. You just got to work.
You gotta talk, communicate.
Yeah, communication's everything. Communication, perspective, attitude, and a common goal.
Well, you definitely gave Caber a idea. He said, "Mate, you gave me a brilliant idea for a off tournament."
One.
So he's got an idea. You struck an idea with him. I don't know what you did, but you struck an idea with him.
You can always talk to me, Caber. I'm always available, man. For anyone around the world, I'm always available, man. Like I don't claim to know anything, but I got a little bit of experience, you know. And I think about it different. I came into this 100% going, how do we make this a legitimate sport?
Well, speaking of, there's kind of a somewhat cat out of the bag earlier that I come across. What do you know on this new thing I'm seeing called NSL? I'm assuming you're a little bit in that bag.
I'm a little bit in that bag, but a little in the dark too.
All right, so it's kind of out there a little publicly on some stuff, so that's why I was kind of like, I'm sure a lot of people don't know of it yet. It seems to be fresh. But
yeah, look, NSL is just a new league, I guess you could say.
Yeah, that's
a new league run by Europe, the team out of SpeedQB Europe. Like Bert and I share a lot of. When I started SpeedQB, I was told to go. I said, "Do you want me to follow the American rules or the European rules?" I was told, "Follow Europe." They've been given permission to.
Oh, I wish we would.
to develop the sport.
Yeah.
So that's how Bert and I came in touch. And we just view everything. We share a lot of views on what the sport should be, what it should be look like, what key indicators we should follow. We just see the potential for a legitimate global sporting league. And they've decided to start NSL and develop it.
That's
Really?
and see that's the thing that came into the context of it from where I've seen it is the word worldwide. So it put us on that spectrum, not just on Australia or Europe. It put us worldwide. So that gives us in the states an involvement somehow. Um,
You know, like
I'm
as
interested.
what I sold to the Australian community when we started was becoming part of a bigger community.
Mm-hmm.
We were we were joining the SpeedQB global community.
Right.
We were all watching Europe by that stage. Time zones work well. We're in the lives. We're forming relationships. Yeah. American time zones work well for us. Like when we would be in the middle, smack bang in the middle of competition now. It's good viewing time for you. So I wanted to connect with the American community because that's the time zone that works well. And the players want to be part of that global community, even if we never, very rarely get to compete together. We all have the same interest, right? And if we're all competing in the same thing, we all share a common interest and goal. So that's
100%.
where this is coming from. That everyone wants to be part of something bigger.
And
There's a bazillion individual leagues out there. There are a bazillion of them, and you don't know about many of them. But this is an opportunity for people to come together and feel part of something that's bigger than their bubble.
That's what I'm hoping to definitely see. And you talk about Europe's rules, whether you went off the States rules or Europe's, I wish we would go off Europe's rules.
Well, just do it.
I really do.
Just do it.
Well, that's going to be
you may not have a name. The name means a lot, right? The name means a lot. But you also have to work too. So,
well, I'd love to see it. I mean, but that's definitely come down to an organizer's thing, opposed to where we go. Say we are going to Nashville this weekend. We know what rules we're going to face, unless they change them right there on the spot. Last time we played, there was gun hits don't count. We're not going to count gun hits, and I'm like, we're all pretty used to something like that, but okay.
They do count for us because
they have for us for.
A while now.
Yeah, it's been a while now, and then they just changed it out of nowhere. Just no gun hits. Okay, cool. So I'll stick my barrel out a little bit if I need to, but naturally,
it can be quite confusing for you guys. That's why you kind of need to pick and choose what you're lying.
Yeah, that's the big thing we've talked about before. If we could travel to different fields, knowing what to expect as soon as we get there. Not this is going to change. Do I need to pack more mags because I have an option for more mags? Am I down to a limit of 1,000? Can I do this, that, whatever the situation is.
It comes down to what you're playing. That's why sometimes a bazillion different leagues can hurt, right? But not everyone can be part of something too, right?
All right.
So before I got Australia up and going, I was pretty close with the guy in New Zealand who was going. It took him 3 years to get the name. Europe got it done quick. We got it done in 18 months. But there was 18 months before we got permission. Speedsoft Australia was never meant to be anything. I just wanted to represent SpeedQB. You know what I mean? But
right.
I understood you can't just hand this out because A, it's a brand that's being built. B, I understood the 3-year time limit because if you go into business, if a business survives the first 3 years, you're pretty safe to assume that you're going to survive. So
right.
as an organization, I can understand SpeedQB being hesitant to
just throw it out there.
Hand that permission over because as an organization, you don't want to say, here's Australia, they're an official leg of SpeedQB, and 6 months later, he might go, you might have enough in 6 months, and then we look like fools.
Yeah, I'd agree with that business perspective there.
So if you wanted to be part of something like that, don't be afraid of the grind and go, okay, look, we can't call it this, but we're gonna deliver this experience and work on our delivery of that experience while we stay in communication and, hey, bro, this is what we're doing and this is what we want to be part of, I'm grateful to SpeedQB. I think I would be nothing without them. The community think different because we operated for 1.5 years as Speedsoft Australia, but I pay a lot of respect to what success I've seen to where I've come from and the ability to be working towards having the name, even if I didn't have a name at that stage. Yeah.
Agreed.
And there are insights into them that I can appreciate too. You know what I mean? So, but I think NSL is going to be a great thing too.
I do too.
We're going to deliver that here too as some variety. So as an operator, I don't want to be a one-show pony. If I think about the community like variety. So I'm going to continue to deliver Speed QB, but then I can offer the opportunity of this alternative platform being NSL, and I'm sure Europe are going to make it great. So I would be a fool not to jump on that as well. Yeah. Speed QB is not broken. So, and our community, we've got a growing community where we went from 10 teams to 24 teams to 40 teams to 60 teams within 3 years. So that's not broken, and the community are enjoying that experience. But I'm happy to deliver an alternative format just to give them some variety, and we host good events. So maybe we just really shine as the operators of good, or the guys who can deliver good events that people enjoy. They're well organized, well structured, yada yada yada. And we're part of something always.
I think it's definitely something that's showing that y'all are doing there, without a doubt.
Appreciate that, bro.
I think it's gonna be interesting. I think I'm very eager to see what 2022 brings in 2023. For everything.
I do know some things, but I can't say too much because it's not my place, you know?
No, I understand completely.
I know.
That's why I even waited so long to just sit here and kind of say something. But I was like, it was a little bit in the bag there. I figured he was, but I didn't even want you saying something you couldn't say.
Of course, I have relationships. I have good, close relationships, you know, so I always know things. But I know my place, too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and I know my place, where I have to trickle down and see what comes out of the gutter, and I'm completely okay with that.
Unless I've been specifically told speak about this, then it's not my place. You know?
I get that.
That's the responsibility of a representative. You're privy to information that you've got to deal with in the correct manner.
I get that completely.
Have a chat with Brad for a minute. I need a tea. I'm drinking way too much Coke.
He loves his Coke, that boy.
So, when did your team develop? How long have y'all been a team?
We got together 3 years. We've been going for, so yeah, this is our third year this year. We went through one of the original teams for Speedsoft Australia when they were going through their launch. Last year, first year of competition, we ended up placing in Div 1, just based on points. That's how it goes. But, yeah, pulled it out the bag and made it all the way through to the grand finals last year. So it was good. We came up a bit short, unfortunately, but, you know, that's how the game goes. So, no, we are bounced back for another year, and it's been good. Our growth has been huge. We've got 2 senior teams, and we have an under-16 team rolling through this year. So, massive shout out to all the Insidious guys watching. Told you we'd get up here. But yeah, no, looking forward to the future and see how everything falls in line across the place, especially like with Europe, you guys over there in the US. So I think it's going to be an awesome transition, especially if we can get more people on board and creating the fact that, you know, this is something we're building as a sport to accommodate everybody. And I think that's the biggest appeal it has.
I'd agree with that. You're talking about the you know, coming up short last year. Yeah, but I'm sure you could agree. Sometimes it's all in the journey. It's all in the gameplay. Just the experience of it. I know that's something we chase a lot. It's not about a win for PBZ. Yeah, we want to take it, of course. I mean, we're all fighting for first place. But genuinely, it's about
100%.
just playing and just having a good time, and especially just vibing with people, just having a blast, shooting each other. I mean, it's what we all love to do. And it's fun to be part of something that we love to do and be a part of something bigger, you know?
Oh, 100%, completely agree. Completely agree. The community is very, very fortunate. It does reach out. There's a lot of people, like-minded people out there, and everyone's here for the right contact. So, being able to hang out with these people outside of actually competing on the field is always awesome to catch up with. Talk a bit of smack and whatnot, and sort of, set a bit of a bar and a bit of banter, and, get you sort of ready to rock and roll. But no, very fortunate. A lot of great people to hang out with during the off break. So, when we're finished on the field, we'll do a bit of a debrief with the team, and then make our way out to the naughty corner and have a good old chin wag with everybody out there, and then realise, oh, we're on the field in 2 minutes. Come on, we got to go.
Yeah, we gotta go.
So,
I like what you said about
Sounds
talking smack. We've talked about that with our team members before. Sometimes talking shit's a good thing. It's more to hype it, not in a bad way like negativity, but I think of like two UFC fighters or something. You get up there, you get the publicity to it. You get up here, we're both gonna line up. We're gonna hype this up, and kind of get it interesting, and that's kind of a good talking shit. Opposed to just not really.
Yeah,
Sometimes they really don't like each other. They're about to slug it out right here in front of the cameras. But at the same time, I think that's kind of good. Two rival teams at the same time, homies with each other. They're really cool with each other, but they're both good teams, and we want to see that kind of thing. We want to see these two play. It's going to be a hell of a match, a hell of a fight, a lot of BB slinging. But just hype that kind of thing up, because it's interesting. When I watch some of my favorite teams sitting there playing, I get hyped to watch them. I legitly do. I'm like, this is gonna be an interesting match. Like, this is about to get serious, So I think kind of taking that off the field, but again, in a playful kind of matter, and we do that.
I can touch on that, right?
Yeah.
You can actually create beef without it getting toxic. So if we relate back to the UFC, right, and this is a content creation side of things, whether it be from an organizer or from you guys, right, you create a storyline. What do we like about sports, right? And what makes you a fan of a team or a hater of a team? It's the storyline. If you look back to Conor McGregor versus Khabib, right, the fight can be a anti-climax. It's the story. People follow follow the story. When you have that piece of content that goes, fuck you, fuck this, fuck that.
Yeah.
That guy's a piece of shit, yada yada. You either love him or you hate him. That's where you create. This is on a broader spectrum of how you make a sport legitimate and how you get fans. You've all spoken about wanting spectators and all that sort of stuff. These are the detailed,
spit it out, Mark.
Intricacies.
All right.
That help develop a sport. So if you're able to do that, if you have a team that you're like, man, they're a challenge when we come against them, you can start creating storylines of your own. Start releasing your own content and create that storyline. So you're building up the hype before you see them on the field. And then after the event, you can create a piece of content that says, how did the battle end? How did that fight end? You can have a year-long running battle between a team without it getting toxic. Ideas. It's not like a fuck this guy. You can never allow content that's calling out this guy's shit. You know what I mean? As a sport, you cannot allow it one single bit. But you can create storylines, right, that people want to follow. And people want to see the outcome. That's how you build fans and build a following, then leads to sponsorship. Man,
you got my wheels turning over here now. Just that statement, because that's so true. It's the buildup of that. I mean, even if the fight goes 30 seconds, it's the buildup. We want to see
what you invested in was the storyline.
Yeah.
What you invested in was the storyline, and whether you like the way this guy handles himself or whether you're hating on him, take the good with the bad. But that's where fans come from. Yeah. That's where they choose their side. I'm backing this guy. I'm backing this guy, and I can't wait to see the outcome.
Yeah, that's so true. You could have fun. You could really have fun with that too, especially in this.
Oh yeah, call them out in a smart ass way. You can talk to that captain and go, bro, we got some beef. I'm gonna create some content content, and I'm going to create some rivalry. And I can dish it out and I can take it. Let's go. I'm going to fuck your shit up.
Like, I already see where you...
And then they're like, yeah, all right, game on, bitch. Let's go.
I like that. That's really good. I'm gonna have to talk to a couple of captains on some teams. Like, bruh, some things can be done there. But yeah, again, that's. I mean, like I said, it's all in the general homie beef, you know. And I love that. It really is part of it. It kind of goes back to what I said a few minutes ago. It's for 3 minutes you're my enemy, but we are homies, and we'll be cool.
Yeah, damn straight. It's a fight. Look, the fight scene is built on respect, right?
Right.
But you're dealing with people who fight for a living, yeah. But they'll have a fight. They'll throw smackdown before the fight. They'll punch the shit out of each other and then hug each other out of respect after it because we've both gone through that journey, yeah.
Yep.
I'd agree.
It's a fight. They are your enemy for 3 minutes. You take to that field, you get your game face on. Yeah, I'm here to fuck shit up. And then after it, you've had a good fight, and you go, fuck them, well done. Let's do it again, eh? Doesn't matter who won, who lost. That was a good fight.
Yeah. I'd agree with that.
I just want to ask: are there any questions in the comments from anyone watching? And I'll ask you guys because I don't know how long we've been going now. 12:54. That's like 2 hours we're coming up to, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think overload because I got a lot on my mind, but I didn't really corral us down a way. But I think we got a lot of information out there for you to think about, yeah?
Oh, yeah. Now, me and Steve definitely will be talking about this one for a minute. Man,
Yeah.
Have you got any specific questions, be it about community or how to organize? Because organized sport is coming your way. That much I can say, yeah?
Yeah.
On two fronts, organized sport is coming your way. So you need to work on the community now.
I would definitely agree with that. I'm
Do
looking
you have any questions on how you can prepare? So when it comes here, you hit it running, yeah?
Man, no, you've answered everything on my end. Like, I'm just waiting for the ball to start rolling.
Yeah, and a lot more work to be done. Something we've discussed already. It's game time. It's what we've been kind of pushing towards. I mean, don't want to fumble the ball when when it's passed to us, kind of thing. Let's do it.
You know what's going to happen? I'll tell you what to expect. You need to start spreading the conversation we started about community. You need to start having with community leaders and spreading it through the community, right? And I can tell you what to expect from an organization perspective. When something comes, you're going to be force-fed some discipline. Expect it, yeah?
Yes.
Expect that you're not always going to like calls. I've never allowed video ref, right? Because video ref fucked so many sports. There's a human element involved, right? Don't worry about, I got this on footage. Let it go. The ref makes the call, cop it on the chin, and walk off. Yeah. Accept it. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some. Be prepared for it. If someone gets a penalty because you haven't, my understanding is that you haven't had that many penalties, they're going to come. Get used to it. It will weed out some poor behavior, and just don't bitch about it because it's needed. It's a bit of discipline, a bit of a smack in the ass to get things in order, yeah?
Yeah.
I agree with that.
And if you've come into it with the right perspective where this be more liable to call something than not, then you don't have a hard lesson ahead of you. But it will weed out those people who are going to hold something back. They'll have a hard lesson to learn, yeah? And they'll bitch and they either stay or they won't. And if they don't, you don't want them anyway.
It's facts there.
There's a business saying, find the smallest viable audience and build on that. in that, I'm saying it's not for everyone. The door's open for everyone, but if you don't fit in here, you can easily say, man, we don't want you here. You're not welcome here. You're not part of this. You don't fit in. You're not putting a circle into a square.
That's facts. That's
Prepared to do a bit of work to curb the behavior, but if you're not going to work with me, I'm not going to work with you. Like, you don't waste people's time. There's going to be time, effort, and money invested. We'll give a little bit more time to allow for behaviors to curb, but then forget it. Like, don't dash your head against the brick wall, yeah? So you fall in line or fuck off, really.
The weight and the transition shift will definitely be worth it in the long run, especially when I put small issues to bed. You know, small issues have got that habit to become bigger issues, but I mean, if you get that nutted straight away, then the rest is gravy. Growth happens and it comes naturally. We've seen that here in Australia. Mark's seen that here now with being able to produce and spread out down into South Australia and reaching out different regions and stuff like that. So it's definitely well worth it.
Build your foundation now as a community. Yeah, it just starts with conversations. You all think like this already. Just start spreading that train of thought and have that perspective ready to go, you know? And like I said, just come at it from the right angle. Hey, man, like, I don't fucking hate on you, but we're trying to build a sport here, man, and it's based on integrity, and I think we can pick this up a little bit here, yeah? Because without it, it does not exist. It will just die. Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. I wholeheartedly believe it.
Well, I think I run out of points that are definitely on my mind, but I'm open to be hit up about anything, really.
So I'm kind of waiting for somebody had a question. And again, y'all that are watching, make sure that y'all go down to the description and find them and follow them.
Love to get a few more viewers. We're working on live stream. It's been a long time coming, but it's always an ongoing journey, you know what I mean? But I have the mindset, so there are things I want to achieve, and I'll just keep working on those too, you know? Mm-hmm. Again, I just look at someone doing it better and try and emulate it.
Yeah,
take inspiration.
Yeah,
stand on the shoulder of giants, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Bro, show off your tools of your game. These are my fucking tools. These are my tools. I'm like the brokest ass mofo in this industry. I don't have much to show, to be honest. I had like I don't even know what to call it in Airsoft, but I do have a monk build. It would take me too long to go get it. I do have a monk build, but it's way over there.
He said it's way over
there. Little birdie told me. Fuck, Harold, I'm not singing. Not a hope in hell. But yeah.
Oh, come on.
We're not here for that.
But at Michael Jackson, though.
Yeah, I sang my wife down the aisle.
That's it.
You'll be able to check out his OnlyFans after this podcast. You'll catch him up there.
I sang my wife down the aisle.
That's awesome.
That's another thing that I, as an organizer, I try and input into this. I always try and I always have the mindset of a bit of a show. Like I said, I come back to the fights. I used to go to Muay Thai shows. You have the lights, you have the sound, you have the atmosphere. It's all about the experience. We do it with SpeedQB events. The doors do not open without that SpeedQB music blasting, because as they walk down that hallway, that's the beginning of their experience. That anticipation as you're coming in, you walk in, you're unloading your gear. Grand final, we try and implement lights because you're a star. You play as a stars, and you should feel like you're part of a show. Yeah,
that's true.
There's a lot of thought that we put into it, but I do always have that element of how can we put on a bit of a show here. Where the singing come from too. I think I was gonna try and make our wedding a bit of a fucking spectacle. It was a spectacle. Yeah. Well, if there's nothing else, I think it's probably a good time to
Let's wrap it up.
quit while we're ahead.
I would agree. 2 hours. I do appreciate both of y'all. I really do. I'll end this here in a second. Mark, it's been a pleasure to have you on. It really has. I was looking forward to it, and I'm glad you finally bit and was like, all right, I'm cool. Let's do it. That's exciting.
Well, I hope I've been everything you dreamed of.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All the way down to the soda you drink.
Oh, bro, I've gone through 2 liters.
Yeah, I seen that. I seen you gulping the last bit of it not long ago.
I'm looking for more, and there's no more here. If I can do a plug, I don't even know what me socials are. On YouTube, please follow us on YouTube, Speedsoft Australia.
Mm-hmm.
Instagram, Speedsoft _ Australia, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're both in the description of this
That's right.
video. Both links are.
Facebook, I think I
Oh,
think
the Facebook.
Facebook's a thing of the past, but took us a while to get over. What are we? Speedsoft _ Australia, speakub.aus, Monk Australia, monkcustoms.au, realstrikearena.aus. We got so many brands, it's hard to keep track of. And I did release, if Bert's not watching, I did release nsl.aus.
Uh-oh.
In preparation. I know it's coming, so I've prepared. I didn't ask anyone to follow, but the page is there in preparation for what's coming.
Yeah, I immediately, once I seen it, I tapped the notification bell immediately. I was just like, oh.
Oh, have you seen it? I haven't even checked it. I did
I
it yesterday after
the
Canary
story
Islands.
I seen the story that Fives put up, and that's where I caught it. ATSB Fives. He's the one that posted on his.
Did he put something up about NSL? I have 2 follows. Yo. Tacos and Harold. Thanks, Harold. Love your work. Big shout out to the work Harold does behind the scenes. He makes what we do look great. And he is the heart, man, his heart and soul that goes into the thinking behind all of this is a gold mine. He's just culture plus. He's got this shit. He's such a good guy to have part of this. And follow Insidious. What's your tag on?
Insidious _global. So yeah, no, we're up there. Same out there. Facebook, Instagram.
And thanks for having us. Look, I'm happy to come on again as new things come up. Let more conversations take place through the community. And if you need another piece of me, I'm always available.
I appreciate it.
I just thought it was the right time. I saw the conversations going on. I saw some conversations going on in the community. I'm like, this is my time, actually. When you're talking about better refs and what we want, I just saw this opportunity. You can start. You just got to get that group together and go, what are we building? And start.
That's true. And it's been a lot of info that we've gathered from you today. And again, I really appreciate you. The conversations that we've had on here and off here before. It's been a pleasure meeting you as well. We're not meeting you in person yet. Hopefully one day. Hopefully.
You can count on it. You can count on it.
Well, good. It has been. It has been a really good one. But nobody in the comment. Well, go ahead, E. What?
I know. I was just about to say it's been a blast. I know I've been darting in and out. I'm taking care of my mom, and so.
It's all good.
But yeah, I know. No, but it's been great. The conversations you had, hearing your ideas, hearing what you're implementing in Australia is great, and I definitely know we're going to adopt it over here on our team, and then we're definitely going to try to spread it amongst other teams to adopt it as well.
Man, we all want to work towards something global, right? And we all want to it's a lot of work. Like, you got to remember, we're grassroots. We have big visions, but it will take a lot of work. Yeah, so don't expect too much, but understand we're always going to work towards something really big. Like, globals and we're actually teams from around the world attend. You know what I mean? This is just work, and we'll get there. We just start the foundations in each of our provinces, and then that will capture the attention of businesses that will go, yeah, this is a community that we want to get behind. That's what businesses invest in. They don't invest in this looks cool. They invest in what are they doing. There's a paint company that sponsors a team in the Grand Prix. Like when you're talking serious sponsorships, I'm not talking about 20% discount or $200 here and now. I'm talking about like even a stepping stone is 5,000 per event, you know, or to 45,000 a year to 100,000. They're investing in. They're big companies who will invest in that, and they want to invest in what you stand for, not what you're doing. They're investing in what you stand for. So let's make something big together.
I would agree with that.
Let's just be good.
Me and Esme were just talking about that earlier, before all this. Some ideas that we had about that.
Just be good. That's it. And good things will come. Be down for the journey. Look, there's people that are going to retire before things happen, but the future is where it's at, yeah? Nurture those new people coming in. Take them under your wing and go, make them welcome, make them enjoy themselves, teach them good habits. Like, it might be hard to teach an old dog new tricks, but there's new people coming. And if you've got a good experience, more and more will come. And start with them fresh. Don't let them get bad habits. By leading by example.
Y'all
Capture them. Get in first. Get in before someone fucks them up.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Snatching youngins from there.
Yeah. Catch them as they just come into the sport. Go, hey, be like us. Behave like this. This is where you want to be. Come with us. Look after you.
Well, y'all that's been in the chat with us this entire time, I really appreciate y'all as well. Thank y'all for joining us. Next week, I'm not sure who's on here next week at the moment. I'm not sure, so I can't go ahead and shout it out yet. But again, thank y'all very much, for real, for hanging out with us, participating with us, getting the conversation with us. Jill, thank you if I'm saying it correctly. It sounds like I'm not saying it correctly the way you would sound it or say it. Thank you as well for being on here with us. I mean, I really appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks, boys.
And I appreciate your input. Esmond, you already know.
Oh, always. Nice meeting you, Jill. Nice finally putting the face to a name with y'all, too.
Esmond, you're a dude.
He is. That's my dude, man.
Let's catch up.
Esmond is my right-hand man.
Hey, Mark, my Instagram, always open. If y'all ever just want to chat, Jill, you too. Always free to listen.
100%. Count on it. You're a cool cat.
He is. He's a trip.
All right.
I'm out here on this one.